Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and I'm so glad you're joining us for today's Meet the World event. The Meet the World program builds positive personal connections between students in the US and global cultures, all through direct interactions with real people who are excited to share their countries and cultures with you. For a complete listing of upcoming Meet the World live stream events, you can visit athome.reachtheworld.org. So athome.reachtheworld.org. Today, we're connecting with Mouhsinatou Toure. Mouhsina is a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant from Touba, Senegal. This year, she's teaching the Wolof language remotely at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And she's joining us today from Dakar, the capital of Senegal, to talk about diversity within the country of Senegal, including the many different languages spoken there. I'm very, very excited to hear this presentation. Before I turn things over to Mouhsina, though, I want to welcome the teachers and students who are watching today's Meet the World live stream event. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course, to share any questions you have for our guest as we go. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes. And without any further delay, it's time to take a journey to Senegal. Mouhsina, welcome to Reach the World.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you. Thank you for joining us in this event. It is a great honor to be here today to talk about my country, my culture. I will introduce myself as Mouhsinatou Toure. In Senegal, I am an English teacher. I teach in a secondary school. This year, I am an FLTA of Wolof at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I'm teaching Wolof, which is my mother tongue. So I'm glad here today to talk about diversity in Senegal, mainly diversity in languages and in other cultural aspects. Thank you, Tim, for inviting me. Right. So I will also apologize about the noise, the background noise you are hearing. You know, Senegal is a bit noisy. At this time, children are outside playing chaucer and discussing and debating things. Thank you so much. Oh, my flag. Great. So let's get started. So for those of you who don't know where Senegal is a West African country. It is surrounded by countries like Mauritania in the north, Mali in the east, and in the south you have the two Guineas, Guinea-Bissau and the other Guinea. And then here you have the Atlantic Ocean. As you can see in this map, you know the languages, you have a variety, a large number of ethnic groups in Senegal. And its ethnic groups has its own subgroups, which has its own language, its own culture and traditions. The largest group is the Wolof. As you can see in the map, we have other languages like Serer, the Chola in the south, and a group is called the Mande, the Malinke. So in the first part, we will talk about the major ethnic groups and their languages. The major groups are the Wolof, the Pula, the Serer, the Jola, and we have a group here with many subgroups. This is a Mande group. The Wolof is the biggest one with up to 43%. It represents 43% of the population of Senegal. But it is also spoken by 95% of the Senegalese population. In the Pula, people represent 23%, the Serer 80%, and you have the Jola, which represent less than 10%, and the Mande group, which is group with many subgroups like the Soninke, the Balant, the Mandinke. We have also other foreign languages, of course. French is the official language, which is used at school, in the workplace. And Wolof is what is called the lingua franca in Senegal. It is used to communicate between other ethnic groups. For example, when a Pular wants to communicate with a Sere, they use Wolof. The same with Jola, Sere, or a Mande. So how do we recognize ethnic groups? Most of the time, it can be religion through the language, through the location, through their occupation, their food, their ways of clothing. All those aspects can help recognize an ethnic group. For example, when you take the Seres, most of the Serer and the Jola and some of the Mande group, they are Christians. And there are some of them who are still practicing the animism. While the Wolof people, most of the Wolof people are Muslims, divided into groups like the Tijan and the Murids from Touba, the Tijan from the other parts. The Pular also, most of the Pular people are Muslims. So religion can help recognize some ethnic groups. And apart from religion, we have place and occupations where they live. For example, when we say the Futa, which is in the north of Senegal, there we expect to have Pular there. In the Sine Saloum, the center, west center of Senegal, we have the Serer, we have the Jola in the south, in Casamance, the Mande group in the east, and then the Wolof in the center, like in the region of Diourbel, the Kayor, the Walo, etc. So for the occupations, let me tell you that among the Wolof group, we have a subgroup which is called the Lebu. They represent up to 0.5% of the Wolof population, but they are recognized as fishermen. So most of them live in Dakar. When you take the Wolof of the Walo, the Kayor, the Jubel, most of them are traders. You find them in marketplaces, they are traders. When you have farming is for Pulars. The Tukula, the Pulars, most of them are farmers, they practice farming. The Jola in the south, they practice agriculture, right? Rice and some fruits, etc. Some of the Sere also, they practice farming as well as agriculture, and there are some Seres who practice fishing, like the Lebu people. So let's talk about food in Senegal. We like food in Senegal. So when you say ceebu, you really think of Senegal. Ceebu is rice and fish. So what is particular about food in Senegal is that we don't do as some Western countries. We don't eat in plates, but we eat around big bowls where everybody eat. Most of the time we eat with our hands, not with spoons or forks. So we all sit around the bowl discussing, socializing. It is meal time is a time for socializing, for discussing between family members and friends. So this is what is called ceebu kecha. It is rice made of rice, some vegetables, and fried fish. It is most of the time eaten by Wolof people, cooked by Wolof people. When you take this is lachiri. It is a typically Pearl or Tukula food. When you go to Futa, you can be served this kind of meal. You have this is chere, couscous, couscous. It is a cereal meal. And then you have the nyankatang. This is called echode. It is made of nyankatang. It is a jola meal in the south. You find it in Casamance in the south of Senegal. You know, in Senegal also, there is a phenomenon which is called the joking relationship or joking cousin. So when a Serer sees a Jola, he can say, "You are my slave," or a Pular will say to a Serer, "You are my slave," or a Serer will say to a Jola, "You must be a Jola. You like rice too much. You must be a Serer. You like eating," things like that. They are just joking, and that's what participate in the harmony in Senegal. This relationship, joking relationship. Apart from food and occupation, we have clothing, the way people, the type of clothes people wear, we can recognize them. So here we have the bubu, the traditional bubu of the Wolof. Most of the time when you go to a ceremony like a naming ceremony or marriage, you can see most of people, they will wear this type of clothes. It is called the bubu or the grand bubu, if you want. The Lebu people, the Lebu, Lebu is a subgroup of the Wolof. This is a type of dance. It is called the Ndaurabin. This is how what they wear when they are practicing their Ndaurabin, the Grabubu. They do it in ceremonies most of the time when the rainy season is approaching. This is a Serer woman. This is a Serer woman with her bubu and all the jewels going with. This is a Pular woman. And these are girls, Jola from Casamas in the south. Most of the time they wear this during circumcision ceremonies. Great. So I wanted to add that in Senegal, as I said earlier at the beginning, Wolof is what creates harmony and cohesion between people. Because when I go to Salom, I don't speak Sere. When I go to Ziguinchor, I don't speak Jola. So I use Wolof to communicate. So when you are a foreigner and then you come to Senegal, you may speak French. People will understand, and there are some people who will understand and talk to you. But if you want to be fully integrated, included in a conversation, you have to speak some Wolof. You have to speak some Wolof because it is a lingua franca. It is a sort of ID of the identity in the Wolof community. And another aspect thing is, most of the time we have what is called mixed marriages. For example, a Serer woman can marry a Pular or a Tukulor, or a Jola can marry a Serer. If that happens, the children born from that relationship, that marriage, they won't speak Jola or Serer. They will speak Wolof. So that is why it is said that most of the time there are people who say Serer tend to lose their languages, and Wolof is gaining ground in Senegal because all the mixed marriages, from all the mixed marriages we have Wolof children speaking Wolof. Or for example, when we have people coming from their villages to Dakar, they no longer speak their mother tongue, but they communicate in Wolof. Even if they are between themselves in a house where everybody is a Sere, they speak Wolof. For example, you can go in a family where of 20 or more people who are Jola or Pula. When you are Wolof, they will not speak in Wolof, but they speak in Sere, sorry, or Pula, but in Wolof, because they want to include you in the conversation. This is what helps us. I will talk about another phenomenon. We have a lot of celebration in Senegal. Either it is Muslim celebration or Christian celebration. So during Easter, for example, there is what is called the ngallah. The people, the Christian people, they make ngallah. It is a sort of porridge, and they share it with their Muslim neighbors. For example, all my friends who are Christians, they will give me porridge during Christmas. At the end of during Christmas, they give me porridge. And I, during Koriche, that means at the end of Ramadan, I will share with them my meal. So this is what we often do in Senegal to cultivate cohesion and the peace between not only religions, but between different ethnic groups. Great. So if I want, before we finish, to teach you a bit of Wolof. So if ever there are some of you meeting a Wolof or a Senegalese person, a Malian or Mauritanian, or wanting to come to Senegal, this is a bit about the greetings and the farewells in Wolof. Salam alaikum is the greeting. It is a broad word from Arabic. Salam alaikum, that means peace upon you. Malaikum salam. It is the equivalent of hi, hello, good morning. And then you say nanga def. Nanga def. How are you? Mangi firek, I'm fine. Nakanga tudu. What's your name? Mangi tudu Tim. Fanga dëkk. Mangi dëkk America. So where do you live? I live in America. Jërëjëf to mean thank you. Jërëjëf, thank you. Nyoko bok, you're welcome. And babenen, goodbye. Babenen to mean goodbye. So great. Jërëjëf team and jërëjëf yéen ñëpp. So I will give back the floor to team if the time is finished. Otherwise, I will try to talk about some places to visit in Senegal. Team.
Yeah, Mouhsinatou, why don't you share your slides about a couple of the great places to visit in Senegal. We have about 5 or 6, 7 minutes until we want to switch to questions and answers. So go for it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Tim. Places to visit. So I have selected a few places to visit for those who may be interested in coming to Senegal. So the first picture here is the Dindifelo Cascade, the waterfall in Kédougou. It is in the east of Senegal. Here, as you can see, it is really a very good site with a lot of greenery and water. You can go there and visit. It is up to the mountain. So I went there last year when I was correcting the baccalaureate exam, and I can assure that it is a really great place to visit. And here, in the right, you have the National Bird Sanctuary. There you can find any type of many types of birds here. It is really it is called Birds Paradise too. Le Paradis des Oiseaux, Birds Paradise in Senegal. It is a great place and interesting place for those who are interested in environment or things like that. For the next two slides, we have, this is Gore, the Gore Island. It is the house of the slaves. So it's where European people took our ancestors to bring them to Europe as slaves to sold them. This is next to Dakar, not far from Dakar. It is most of the time the most visited place, is touristic place in Senegal. And here you have the point of Sangoma. This is a sort of island too, which is really an emerging place to visit. There's a lot of places and hotels where you can stay if you want. And then you have, for those who are interested in arts and literature and books, this is the Museum of IFAN, the Museum of African Arts, where you have a lot of interesting books. It is in the University Sheikh Anta Diop of Dakar. It is in the center of Dakar. You can spend hours there because I like reading. That's why I've chosen this place. It's a great place to visit once in Senegal if you are interested in arts and literature and civilization, things like that. And the last one is the Mosque of Touba, the Holy Mosque of Touba. I live in Touba, and I know that a lot of people come there every year to visit this mosque. It is the biggest one in the country, if not the biggest one in Africa. It is a great place. I hope you will visit, if not yet, Senegal soon, and I will be happy to welcome you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right, Mouhsinatou, thank you so much. I'm going to switch us to gallery view so we can see each other. That was such a great presentation. Wow, I really didn't fully understand the diversity within Senegal. And it's really interesting to see how each group has distinct clothing and food and language and religion traditions, but that the binding presence of Wolof is really like keeps everybody together and in harmony. That's really interesting to see.
Thank you.
I had a question for you. You had a map up on one of your slides that showed where the different ethnic groups lived, and there was a big empty space sort of in the middle of the country.
Yes, right.
Who lives there? What's going on with the middle of Senegal?
There is a sort of melting pot where you can find all the ethnic groups. It is like the region of Julberende. So you can find the Moors, the Serer, the Pula. That's where you have the biggest market in Senegal. So the biggest marketplace. So you have all of them, because when it is highlighted, that is it's places which are specific to those ethnic groups, but the rest is where you can find all of them together. Like for example, when you go to Touba, you find all the ethnic groups, they are all there, and Touba is in that white area. Okay. It is in the Kayor in Walo, so you have the Wolof people, the Sere, the Pula, all of them interacting through trade, agriculture, and things like that.
Okay, all right, thank you. That makes sense. We had some interest and some questions from our online audience. I know that on paper, French is a big language in Senegal, and you mentioned French very briefly, but you also said that Wolof is really the language that holds everybody together. Can you talk a little bit about the role of French within the language community and where and when it's used?
Yes, French is the official language. So it is the language which is used as the language of instruction in schools. It is also used in the workplace, but not further than there. So wherever else you go, like the markets, in the family, they don't speak French. Even in some workplace, you can start speaking French, but at the end you will finish speaking Wolof. So Wolof is the official language. So we are asked to use Wolof while teaching some languages, some subjects like the history and geography. But whenever you go outside the classroom, with my colleagues, we start discussing in Wolof. In the workplace, it is the same. When you go to the ministry, you will address people, mainly people you are not familiar with into French, but most of the time you will end up using Wolof. So,
okay, so you really need to know. I mean, you speak beautiful English. You 3 languages? Is it accurate to say that you can speak fluently in 3 languages?
Yes, French, English, and Wolof.
That's
And
incredible.
I read some Spanish because I did Spanish when I was in the second in high school and 2 years at university.
That's very impressive. Very, very impressive. We have a number of students who are watching today who are sort of in like the 10, 11, 12-year-old range, which in the United States is like 5th grade, 6th grade, around that age. If you were a student in Dakar or Touba, what would you be learning as a language in school, or what sort of language instruction would you have? Would it depend where you live in the country?
Yeah, for some languages, yes, it depends because Portuguese is taught in Senegal, but most of the time we find it in the south because due to the influence of the Guinea, there they speak Creole. Creole is a bit near, uh, is a bit near Portuguese, so it is compulsory to learn English. It is compulsory to learn French. But Spanish, Arabic, Italian, Portuguese, German, Russia, you have to choose. It is up to the students to choose what to learn. In some schools, we have just Spanish or Arabic. In others, we have both. Like in my school, we have German, Russian, Arabic, and Spanish. But when I was in high school myself, we didn't have all those languages. We just had I went in high school in Baké near Touba. We had Spanish and Arabic, and I had chosen Spanish as my second language in foreign language.
Okay, wow.
I have answered the question.
Yeah, you did perfectly. Thank you. That's amazing. And so you are a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant. You are teaching Wolof remotely through Zoom calls like this with students in North Carolina and Chapel Hill right now. What is that experience like for you? I know you had hoped to be in the United States this year, and I hope that you still will be at some point. But what is it like to teach U.S. students your language?
Yeah, it is a great experience. In the beginning, I can tell you, it was so stressed and anxious about it because online teaching is not that advanced in Senegal. So I had to learn everything and to practice using all these tools, online tools. But it was great. So the students are eager to learn. So, and it was the other staff are really helpful, and it was fantastic, and they are interested in what you are doing, so that's motivating for a teacher.
Oh, that's great. Well, I hope that you will still get to come to North Carolina and teach the students in person, because it's such a great experience. And I hope when you do, we get to talk again, because I have questions for you about what you think of the United States and so many other things. We have just 2 or 3 minutes left, and I would really love to just, what is it to ask you, what is it you would really love American students, young students, to really like take away from this? What do you want them to know and understand about Senegal?
So what I want them to understand is that as it is called, Senegal is called the country of Teranga. In the world of Teranga is that means they like hosting people. They like receiving guests. It is an honor. So we like giving food. We like sharing and things like that. Most of the time when we have a guest, we organize ceremonies. We show them to other people. So I wanted to share my food, my clothes, some parts of my culture. I have a lot of things to say, but unfortunately the time didn't allow it. So it is a great thing and a great opportunity. I think they have learned a lot about Senegal, and it will be useful to them in the future.
Well, I think you did a fantastic job in the limited amount of time you had today of telling us a lot about Senegal and the diversity within Senegal. And like I like to say at the end of our Meet the World events, now all of the students who are watching and who watch this recording have a friend in Senegal. And when they find themselves in Senegal, they know somebody. It's not a place that's far away. It's a place where they have a connection now, which is amazing. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Mouhsinatou. This was so fun to meet you and talk with you and hear your perspective. I want to thank our entire live stream audience for going on this journey with us today too. Reach the World is going to continue hosting many more Meet the World live stream events over the coming months throughout this entire school year. Maybe we'll get a chance to reconnect with Mouhsinatou at some point, which would be great. And everybody who's watching or who finds this recording is invited to travel virtually with us. You can visit athome.reachtheworld.org for more information. And with that, I want to thank you again, Mouhsinatou, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much.